Y'all, hello and welcome back to another sports video. We're looking at football. Now, of course, this is, as I've learned, the biggest sport in the world, and the U.S. is one of the weird, kind of odd men out when it comes to the sport, right? We have many other sports that are way bigger here. I feel like, myself, I'm on this journey of learning about soccer. Now I know properly called football, and it's been fascinating in the very little I've learned, and I think a lot of people in the U.S. are kind of catching on as well. It's starting to gain traction here a lot more than it has over the past decades. And we're going to be looking at a video titled Why Soccer Will Be the Biggest Sport in the U.S. That's a pretty bold claim, but, I definitely think it can gain traction. I'm not really sure why it's not bigger here. Just because, my only thoughts are maybe we're so used to like a lot of scoring in games other than like, I guess, baseball. Baseball can be high scoring, but usually it's not. But football can have some games that are a draw. It's, 0-0 or whatever, or 1-1, so maybe that's part of it. It's not like a great excuse. It's just a thought. And then, of course, the big thing is maybe not really the people themselves, but the networks, right? Most people aren't going to be going to games all the time. They're going to watch it on TV. And I think the networks here, America is just obsessed, man. Obsessed with money and advertising and everything. And, dude, soccer just never stops, right? It just keeps going and going. And how are they going to find breaks to show ads, right? That's kind of a bad excuse, too, because they could do picture-in-picture if they insist on showing ads in your face all the time. At least with NASCAR never stops either. They show the race like when they go to an ad break on part of the screen, and then they show the ads on the other part. They could do that for football, and I think they should. But yeah, it is kind of different in that sense as well. They can't stop it every, 15, 20 seconds like they do American football and the NFL. Most of the game is spent watching not the game. So let's get into this. This is from Robbie Lou. It'll be linked in the description down below, so you can watch the whole thing uninterrupted and definitely browse his channel. Here we go.
The World Cup on right now. Soccer's on people's minds across.
When was this from? Okay, so this is from late 2022. So it's still pretty recent.
US, I believe the beautiful game is ready to take the country by storm, and this could prove dangerous for baseball and basketball in the United States.
Hear me out. I have a few reasons to believe that soccer is going to surpass baseball in popularity over the next decade. And make sure you stay to the end to see how a 17-year-old...
Okay, so that's more realistic over the next decade. It's not like he's saying like next year it's going to blow up. That's more realistic. I can see it definitely gaining a lot of traction, for sure.
Soccer streamer fits into all my theories here. Okay, so there's been a bit of an international revolution when it comes to American players in Europe.
With the quality of American players increasing the biggest leagues in Europe, I think that's going to bring a ton of attention to the sport in the US. And with this interest, I believe that will increase investment in the sport throughout the country, which will hopefully introduce more academy programs to different areas throughout the United States. And that would
that'd be awesome
for the hopes in the future of soccer in the US. Even today, the academy programs in the United States are so much better than they were in the past. And that's why the team is so much more talented today, the national team, than it was.
That's good to hear because, I didn't play soccer growing up at all, right? So I don't know anything about that. But I'm really glad to hear that that's picking up even at youth level. I encourage that. I think it looks so much fun, and I think I really missed out, right? I just picture being at an awesome field and playing and learning, and it's wide open, and it's great for your body. It's great, workout. I really did. I really missed out, and I want that for my kids. I played, different sports, baseball the most. I was a baseball person, but, I played American football, like NFL-style football, right, or basketball and some other stuff. But I don't want them, for example, playing football, like American football, I should say. Over time, it's come out. Too many injuries, too many head-to-head, helmet-to-helmet contact, all that stuff is proven to be very bad in the long run for your body. And not to say other sports aren't rough, including soccer can be very rough as well. But I would love, for example, my kids to play soccer or tennis or something to keep them in shape and keep them active much more than American football.
Soccer's already the fastest growing sport in the U.S.
Hopefully.
Looking at a study from 2002 to 2019, high school soccer participation grew 32%. which
Wow.
is far and away the highest growth of any major sport.
Dude, I missed
Not
out.
only do I believe
Damn,
the
I
World
missed
Cup
out.
right now will be increasing interest in the sport, but having the World Cup in America in 2026 will have a drastic effect on the popularity of the sport.
Is that official? I have not kept up on. I have not kept up on that. I have heard of that, though. I forget that that's a possibility. Yeah, that'll definitely generate interest over here. That's for
The
sure.
argument I see against soccer and why it won't become popular in the U.S. is because it's boring and it's slow and it's low scoring. But I think that argument can be used in the same way against baseball. And so
Yeah, it definitely can be used against baseball. Baseball is very slow and very low scoring, right? Now, I love baseball, so naturally I could love soccer as well. And I would argue that soccer is not slow and boring. I guess you could say that, but it's different levels, because I'll tell you what's slow and boring, the NFL, right? They hike the ball, and whether it's a pass or a run, the play is anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds long, and then they sit around for 40 seconds until they snap the ball again. Like, it's very, very slow, right? And then there's timeouts and injury timeouts and ad breaks and you name it, halftime shows. And like, dude, it is like a 4-hour affair. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been a lifelong NFL fan, but in recent years, I asked my parents, I still go visit them and with the intent of watching, the Chicago Bears, right? NFL team on Sundays. And when I do go visit them, I literally have fallen asleep during the games. You know what I mean? Like, I can't last through a whole game anymore. They're too long and drawn out. So yeah, that argument's shaky at best.
I think the attributes contributing towards soccer's increase in popularity will outweigh its losses, and it will increase in popularity in the U.S. However, I don't think you can say the same for baseball.
Now,
yeah,
studies
baseball's on a
do show
downward
that today,
trend.
Soccer is still behind baseball and basketball in terms of American popularity. However, I think the difference maker between these three sports will be soccer's ceiling. I think baseball specifically, but possibly basketball, has already hit its ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. Baseball is one of those sports, as a lifelong baseball player and absolute lover of baseball, I will openly admit that baseball is fun to play. It is not fun to watch. It's the easiest way to put it. I mean, it's a little more fun in person, right? It's a little more lively when you're there, but baseball on TV is like, it's rough. It's pretty boring.
In April of 2022 kind of confirmed this idea. The study polled American citizens to see what they considered themselves fans of. In it, 67% of them considered themselves fans of the NFL, while 55% for the MLB and 46% for the NBA.
Wow, I'm surprised NBA and NHL aren't higher, because hockey and basketball are exciting. They are exciting. They're fast-paced, lots of scoring. Maybe not for hockey, but there's lots of, hockey is actually more like soccer in the way it operates. But, of course, way smaller field, right? The rink is way smaller. But yeah, they're exciting. But the NFL, I don't know. I think it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little overrated in my opinion. MLB, again, I like it, but I'm a weirdo. Most people don't like baseball, and I totally get it. I definitely don't see why soccer, could keep rising here. I really don't think it's boring. I think it's interesting.
Soccer, only 37% of people polled agreed that they were fans of the sport. From these numbers, I can kind of tell that baseball and basketball, since they've been cornerstones of American sports since the mid-20th century at least, their industries have matured and there's not much more room for growth. But
yeah,
soccer
I'd say that's kind of a fair point.
In the 90s, and it still has huge potential. Because of that, I think it will begin stealing fans from the older sports in America. Now, baseball is a historic sport in the United States, but I think there are inherently issues with baseball that will make it unappealing to people in the future. A lot of people are ignoring regular season games. And it's my personal opinion, and a lot of others out there, that the problem is the way baseball is set up. While in sports like soccer and in the...
True. You saw that article? They might have to shorten the season. They might. Dude, baseball goes from February for spring training all the way till literally basically November or like late October, right? It is so long, and in that time span, they have 162 regular season games. not including, preseason, spring training, and of course postseason. 162 games. Now, even as a diehard baseball fan, a diehard Chicago White Sox fan, there's never been a season where I'm watching anywhere near even half of that. It's just impossible, right? That would be a full-time job.
Few games that there are for soccer, 1 game a week, it's very significant. There's a lot riding on one game.
That's true.
And when they combine that 1 game of the week in the league with other leagues, it makes for a very entertaining season. When you're competing for 3 different trophies all at one time, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of excitement around the sport. And that's crucial for keeping people interested in watching. That's not something baseball has anymore. There's 162 games in a 4-month period, and it gets really boring. I think the MLB playoffs is one thing, because that will remain entertaining in my book. That's all I watch now. But otherwise, I don't think the youth in America are watching every single game or many games at all. And unless baseball implements some major changes, I don't see a good future for the sport. A key point to recognize here is that baseball, basketball, and football, there are no major leagues outside of America for those specific sports.
Yeah.
And that's not the case for soccer. So if you get bored with...
At the end of the day, as I've learned, soccer is worldwide, man. It is going nowhere. It's only going up, right? It's not going down. It's not getting less popular. It's only getting more popular. And if it works in so many other different places, clearly that's a sign that it's a great sport and it's a universal language, right? It's something that many people can enjoy from so many different corners of the earth. And that says a lot, because no other sport conquers the sports world, so to say. Nothing really comes close. It's astounding. It's spectacular.
MLS, there's Ligue 1, there's La Liga. There's leagues all over the world.
That's what I like about it.
So many different options. And that's what we need today. That's what consumers want today. They want options.
They want options, And there's so many different things to follow. If they want to be super casual and just follow one team, they can do that. If they want to just get into it and look at all these different leagues and all these different tournaments and all this stuff, then you can go all in. You can go to so many different levels and have so many different options with it. And obviously, as a rookie to the sport, a total noob in fandom, it's kind of overwhelming for me, but it not in a bad way. I know there's a lot to learn, but I am excited because there is so much to learn and there's so much to follow, and I think it's so cool. They also do tournaments really well. For some reason, football and tournaments just go together just so well. When you talk about the UEFA Euro, right, that we just had, this past at the beginning of summer, and of course, the World Cup and so much more, right? It's very exciting, and even how these leagues work with the season and how the standings work and everything. I'm very
Look at the way people operate
pleasantly
on YouTube,
surprised by it.
Constantly scrolling. They need options, and that's not something these other sports can offer them.
But I really want to recognize that there's something that soccer has right now that it's never had before in the U.S. A major influencer that loves it.
Oh, yeah. Now, I know who this is. I Show Speed. I don't obviously have time to watch basically anything I want, so I obviously don't watch him, but I'm aware of him. I know he's very famous and obviously American, and yeah, I think he's pretty into football. So that's actually gonna help as well. I mean, someone that famous, right? Showing, I'm sure he has an international audience, but what from his American audience? Of course, they're gonna see soccer all the time, right?
Quickly become one of the most popular faces on the internet today. He's wildly entertaining and has found a way to garner a massive audience in a pretty short period of time. And he loves the game of soccer. It's become a huge shtick
that's cool.
in his videos and his streams, and he plays FIFA all the time. And so I think with this, will help foster new interest in the game among people that may not otherwise have learned about soccer or been interested in it. And I hope this interest can lead to some more soccer-obsessed fans just like me.
So that was kind of a quick video, but really a good breakdown of why soccer is growing. He showed proof that it is growing here, especially in the last 10 or 20 years. But of course, can continue to grow, and I think it will. I guess for the comments, like, do you think it will keep growing here? I think it'd be almost irrelevant if you're watching from anywhere outside of the U.S., which I think most people will be. Will it grow in your area? That's kind of a dumb question because soccer is already number one. Football is already number one in basically everywhere else. So I'm not even going to bother asking that. But yeah, I really hope it gains more traction. I'm really excited to keep learning about it from the couple games I got to watch during this past Euro Cup, of course. Very exciting. Very exciting. I'm hooked already. I have so much to learn about, so many highlight reels to take a look at, techniques, teams, legendary players, coaches, all that stuff. I'm just loving diving into this, and I'm just getting started. So I think it's super fun. And honestly, you know what? I think what I need to do is get my ass outside and try it out. That's what I need to do. So yeah, maybe look for that soon. Anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I appreciate you watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Keep up your awesome suggestions, by the way. Yeah, that's going to do it for this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, y'all. Catch you later.